Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Thank you everyone that submitted questions for this week's Q&A. I know there are a lot of questions about where they're taking things given the changes they've already made, so I tried to address as many, non-crazy spoilery questions as possible. Double high fives to everyone that submitted fan subs too. Some of you had some questions about how to do that, so I'll explain at the end of this video, but just careful for spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet. So here we go. First question, Zoo asks, am I the only one that doesn't trust Daario? I don't like his relationship with Daenerys. Yeah, it looks like you're not a big fan of Ed Skrein either. I think that the new Daario is a way better actor too, just in general. The thing about him that made me really suspicious was how quick he was to try and get Daenerys to reopen the fighting pits. She thinks it's barbaric and subhuman. It'll take a few more episodes to get some more evidence, but I will start freaking a little bit if he starts siding with Hizdahr. Hizdahr, I think, is the one with the agenda, but remember, Daario is a mercenary. He can be bought. We do see him trying to defend Daenerys in the trailer here in Daznak's pit. So I'm not expecting any dramatic left turns from the book version of Daario. I think it's most likely they'll just cut out some of his plot just because he's not going to be on screen quite as much. But yeah, just keep your eyes peeled on Daario. And if you're brave enough, you can keep him peeled on his butt too, because he's probably going to spend most of the season naked. Next question, Dan Dino asks, which episode is it that will outrun the book? So you're asking when will the show pass the books? I think it's going to be different for each character. I think Sansa will be in Winds of Winter territory this year, so she's almost already past her book story, or even as of the first episode. Bran has already caught up with his Winds of Winter storyline, which is why they chose to omit him. If Stannis marches for Winterfell before the end of the season, he'll have caught up with his Winds of Winter storyline too, so that could happen in the middle of the season, it could happen at the end. Depending on how you look at the way they're changing the young Griff, Tyrion, Varys storyline, you could say that he's already past his book story too. But there is a lot of what he's doing right now in Book 5, in Dance with Dragons, so we'll see. Next question, Bill Tang asks, do you think we'll see Melisandre's illusion magic on the TV show? So you're talking about glamour magic. I certainly hope we do. I mean, we've seen almost every other kind of magic. For people that haven't read the books, Jack and Hagar changing faces, the Faceless Men changing faces, isn't the same thing as glamoring. From a visual perspective, it is. Typically, glamoring involves the glamored person using some sort of charm, like a jewel. So Melisandre could glamour someone, but she'd have to give them one of her jewels. This kind of gets into Mance Rayder stuff, and after the episode, the creators almost unofficially confirmed that he is dead for good. So if they do end up glamoring anyone on the show, it's going to be part of a storyline that's different from the books. Next question, Ramen asks, how could Dany ever trust Varys when he was the one giving the small council in King's Landing information about her? I think his meeting with her would involve an intermediary, he would be introduced to her through the group that is part of the Targaryen Restoration. I don't think he would just walk up to the base of the pyramid and say, hello, my name is Varys. I used to sit on the small council. Please make me one of your advisors. So what I'm hoping is we meet some of these other people that Varys has been plotting and scheming with. That could be the Golden Company. They could tie the Dornish master plan to the Varys-Daenerys storyline. It could be Doran Martell. He could be sitting at the top of that Targaryen Restoration. I don't think he's a giant fan of the Targaryens. I think he just hates the Lannisters. Next question, Liam asks, which characters do you think that they'll have delve into Winds of Winter stuff for? I know Sansa will, but do you think there's going to be any major spoilers from the book in this season for other characters? Well, I don't know about big spoilers because the show is changing so much stuff. It depends on what you consider a spoiler. I'm assuming most of the people asking about Winds of Winter type stuff are book readers who are worried that the show is going to spoil the books. I would say at best, what the show is going to do is just confirm a few fan theories, and the rest of the stuff will just be dramatic departures, so it won't even be close to what happens in the books. It's like if the book travels in a straight line, think of the show as following the line for a little bit, then going all the way around, and then coming back to the point where the show ends up at. That's actually going to be a lot of fun this season, trying to figure out if the show confirms or does not confirm or stomps on any big fan theories. But just remember, the show is going to be vastly different from the books in all but the biggest storylines. Next question, Sariko asks, since Brienne's storyline is connected to Lady Stoneheart, do you think that they'll introduce us to her this season? I'm not expecting to see Lady Stoneheart. I do think that we'll see some Easter eggs for her, just some visual reminders. I know Michelle Fairley's name appeared on the IMDb page for the finale, but unless we get some more confirmation or see some more evidence, I'm going to assume that a fan did that and that it was bogus. Next question, True Loner asks, I have a question about Daenerys' dragons. Do you think they were actually trying to harm her, or would they ever harm or kill her if they could? No, I think they were just really pissed off. Daenerys' dragons are still bonded to her. Drogon, Viserion, Rhaegal, all bonded to her. That hasn't changed, but if you cage any kind of animal, it's going to get pissed if you don't let it out. We have to assume the dragons are being fed. We don't know how much and we don't know what they're being fed, so they're also probably upset about that too. It's like if you've ever owned a large dog. They're really sweet, but sometimes they get cranky. So that's what I think is going on with her dragons. And if you believe that Targaryens can't be burnt by fire, then she was never in any danger. Although to be fair, they could probably chew a Targaryen in half. One of Daenerys' other big problems, in addition to like her people problem, is that she doesn't know a lot about dragon lore. That's where I think Tyrion and Varys can help out, just because they read a lot of books. And that's where most of the contemporary knowledge of dragons comes from, is from old books that people wrote a long time ago. Next question, Angel asks, what do you think about the character Ollie, the little boy from Castle Black? How do you think he'll be developed? Okay, so this is actually a good question. I saw a lot of people talking about this. Ollie was the one that killed Ygritte. I think that Ollie will be involved with Jon Snow's big WTF moment this season. I don't want to give away any huge spoilers, but I think that he's going to be critical to that moment. I think it'll be a big twist on that season 4 moment. Like it'll be a big callback to that. But please use spoiler tags if you're going to comment on that, just because it is pretty spoilery. Next question, Bence asks, why did Varys say that Robert was a disaster? I thought that through time he was a mighty warrior and honorable, but why a disaster? So you're talking about as a king. I think it was just his overspending. Remember, it'd been almost 16 years that he'd been king, and he'd been having tournaments all that time, spending the crown's money, spending them into a pile of debt with the help of Littlefinger. So he might not have been a terrible king, but he definitely hated ruling, the administrative part of ruling. Had someone, with the mindset of Tywin been king, they might have been a little more mindful of what all the little birds of King's Landing were doing around them, like Littlefinger's plan to destabilize the crown with crushing debt. Next question, Karen asks, how did the first 4 episodes get leaked? That's a good question. So what happens is HBO will give screeners to critics, to people that translate. There's just like a whole giant list of people that get episodes ahead of time. So someone in that sea of people took the screeners, then uploaded them to the internet. Next question, John asks, does Melisandre see something special in Jon Snow? She's been eyeing him up ever since they set foot on Castle Black. Yeah, I definitely think that she sees royal blood in him. Remember what she can do with royal blood. There is power in royal blood. So she probably wants to use him to do something really powerful. Most of you guys probably know that I'm a big fan of the R+L=J theory of Jon Snow. As in, like, his parents are Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. That would give him, like, the most royal blood possible. I don't know that you could quantify how royal different people's blood could be, different nobles' blood, but I think that his blood is more powerful than Stannis's is, which is why she's so interested in him. Thank you so much, everyone, for submitting questions. These are always a ton of fun to do. This is going to be a really fun season. I know there'll be, like, a lot of questions based on big changes they make, but it's just more stuff for us to talk about. Congratulations to the winners of the book giveaway. So Super Lucetta and Vermilion Lotus, just DM me on the back end of my channel. Since I have 2 books, it's just, first person to DM me gets to pick which book they get. It's A Feast for Crows and A Dance with Dragons, both signed by George R. R. Martin. The next round of the giveaway will start whenever I post my episode 2 video. That'll be a subscription for HBO Now. That'll be like what the weekly giveaway is. For those that are asking about the fan sub stuff, if you look at the CC menu at the bottom of the player, you go in through that, it just says add subtitle. That's the menu where you do it. Thank you so much again, everyone that's been submitting fan subs. It's a huge help to me. And thank you for almost 30,000 followers on Twitter and 50,000 on Facebook. If you do want to follow me there are links for that in the description. Sometimes I'll live tweet shows if I'm not working on other videos. My next bonus video is probably going to be about the House of Black and White, so I'll post that before my episode 2 review posts on Sunday. And just in case you guys haven't seen it yet, you can click here for my episode 1 video, and you can click here to learn all about the Sons of the Harpy. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tomorrow.